Howdy folks. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for joining me in the brewery. And today I'm tasting Brewventure No. 6 Tropical Stout. There's a bottle opener here somewhere. And I've got two different bottles here. On the left, well, my left, your right, is the base version, which is sitting on tap in the kegerator. This fella is the batch that I'm barrel aging. Keg sitting on some oak chips and some rum, which I've just taken half a bottle off just a bit early and got it cooled down. So she's not fizzing up anything because I've not really made any effort to keep the gas in it, just so I can taste it and see how it's travelling. So anyway, before I get into it, big shout out to the Patreons. Thank you guys for your support. Link down the bottom if you're interested in Patreon. If you subscribe to the channel, fantastic. If you're not, same thing. Hit the subscribe button down below. You can find out when everything's happening. You don't miss a thing on the channel. And if you're watching along, you like what's happening, give Little John the thumbs up. So anyway, as I said, Brewventure No. 6. Stick the link up in the corner there to Brew Day. And this was the brew that was based on the All-In Brewing Freshwater kit, the Writer's Block Milk Stout, which I've just dressed up a little bit. Just to refresh everybody, I added in the actual video I said 4 litres of coconut water. In the end it was only 3 litres, due to the amount of volume I got from the pineapple, which was 2 fresh pineapples. I chopped them up, cooked them for about an hour with some muscovado sugar, some dark brown sugar, and added that into the fermenter. All the juice and everything went into the fermenter along with the kit and that 3 litres of coconut water, and got us our 23 litre, oh sorry, it wasn't 23, our 20 litre initial volume. I calculated an estimated original gravity of 1052. That was calculating for what I sort of might have got out of that, out of the pineapple, because it was, to some degree immeasurable. So it's only a rough guess, but it's going to be certainly going to be somewhere in that sort of ballpark. Wouldn't have been a long way off that. So I fermented that with 2 packets of SO4, which were just thrown in dry. The SO4 was pretty much at its best before. It was a couple of packs I got cheap from the local Mitre 10 closing down, or clearing stock before they closed down. Fermented at 18 degrees, so it was fairly standard ferment. I ran just a couple of psi of pressure on it. I didn't brew it under any pressure. She blew through to about 10-16 after 6 days. Took it up to 21 degrees for a couple of days, for 3 days, where it was still at 10-16, hadn't changed, so I was happy she was finished. Dropped it down to 1.5 degrees over 2 days in 2 steps, and cold crashed, and then left it there for, in the end it was 6 days at cold crash. So with a total of, in the end, 16-day total ferment from start to bottling. Bottle up 9 litres, that's it, which has gone into the keg fridge. Another 8 litres went into a second keg, which I added some oak chips, which I'd soaked in some rum. So there's a variety of, there were some oak chips which I'd used previously for aging some rum that I'd distilled, and they've been sitting here for a while, so I refreshed them with the rum. So it was basically a a 1/3 quantity mix of Substation 41, Bundaberg Select VAT, 240 I think it is, and some of my own barrel aged rum, which was a slightly overproof, and sat the chips on that for, I haven't got it here, and I can't find, I'm having trouble finding the recipe here in bloody in Brewventure. I don't know why, but I probably got more, probably would have had more information in there than if you, but I think it sat for about 2 days. It wasn't a real long time. I just wanted to refresh those chips, and so basically pulled them out and added them into the keg. There was probably maybe 50 or 60 ml of the actual rum that went into the keg as well. A very little amount, so it wasn't going to make a lot of impact. So that's now been sitting since the 28th of September. So it's about 3.5 weeks since that happened. So she's still fairly young, but my view is a tropical stout. It's sort of a little different to your normal sort of stout, where you want to get it out nice and fresh while it's young and it's vibrant. Quite often you want to let your stout, let them sit and age and let the flavours develop. And I don't think the reality is that letting this sit for a while is going to hurt it, but you know, let's get into it. Now, I've had a taste of this previously, but only the one. So she's reasonably dark, she's not jet black by any stretch. There's a very strong ruby note through it. It's got a lovely toffee nose. There's some light notes of it's sort of just fruitiness. It's not really anything specific sort of jumping out. It might become a bit more evident as it warms up a little bit. So it starts off nice and it's lightish for a stout. It's not big, and again, that's what you're looking for. The tropical. It's a summer drinking stout. It's not necessarily for drinking in the in the depths of winter. It's something you want to just have, and you can something a little different on a warm day. So there's a lightness in there, but it's still enough mouthfeel and body that you know you're drinking, something a little bit more interesting than just standard lager or pale ale. First one, I'm really noticing with the flavours, there's nothing really shouting out, and being sort of dominant. There is a good strong, malty presence. And that the milk stout is noticeable in the malts. Yeah, it's noticeable that sweet stout. I think the reality is, like, really brewing this style, just a standard pub stout, dry stout would probably be a little bit more beneficial. So this was more playing around with that kick, so I had it here with something to do. But the tropical notes are sitting on the back. They're just it's malt, rich malt without being not being sweet or, you know, cloying like you can get sometimes with the dark brews. Then it flows quickly from the malt into a nice little bit of sweet fruitiness, which isn't, again, like the notes, isn't really specific. But it's nice, it's gentle, and then that little finish of the lactose from the milk stout sort of finishes it off at the end. I think if the lactose wasn't there, that the fruits might play a little bit more, that pineapple and whatnot. But I'm just going to leave that for a little bit, just let it warm just a bit, see how, if I can pick out those, you know, what the pineapple and the coconut and that's doing. You know, it's hard to say because I've never made this kit before, so I don't know what it tastes like on its own to see what differences this has made. As it stands, that's a really nice beer. So that on its own is a thumbs up, because that is good. Now, let's go over here for a minute. Okay, the rum is just, got just a delicious, molassesy dark fruit nose. Oh, that smells really good. I can't really comment on the carbonation. Like I said, the keg's just sitting here on the garage floor, with bottles straight out of that. You have the bottle going straight into a warm bottle. I made no effort to sort of try and conserve any of the carbonation. I don't think the colour's been really affected in any great way by the oaking. It's still like deep ruby red. Okay, it's got a big impact on the flavour though. Okay, that's really toning down the fruit and the sweetness that's in here, and really bringing up a more solid, you know, I could almost say flatter sort of a note, which is where that sort of the woods just leveled everything out. Yeah, the flavours are there, but yeah, the oak is sort of really a bit more dominant. Quite truthfully, I don't like what it's doing. It's much nicer without the impact of the oak. But as a standalone beer, it's got some nice qualities. There's it's almost a red wine type feel to it, with the tannins coming through from the oak, and that sort of that fruitiness that's coming along with it. That certainly isn't evident in there. So it's got a very different vibe. There's a very much a Cab Sav sort of a vibe going on. Yeah, very red wine like. So if you do like your red wine and that sort of, you know, those oaky fruity notes, then that would certainly be you're going to really enjoy. And again, it's not bad what it's done. I just don't think it's made a positive impact on the base beer. and at the end of the day, if adding this stuff to your beer isn't making any improvement, then to me it's a waste of time, because you want the beer to be the best it can, but at the same time it does give you a different kind of beer from the one batch, and that on its own is not necessarily a bad thing. If that's sort of thing you want to go with. I mean, I know I can let that sit now. I can let it sit for a few months. Drink through this fella, it'll be gone. I can bottle that fella up, or transfer off the keg onto off the oak into a fresh keg, get it on tap, and have a totally different beer here to drink. So it's not a loss, and it's not a bad result, but I mean, for me, that's probably not too bad an outcome, because I'm not going to want to drink 17 litres of that. One keg I might get through over summer, like a 9 litre keg. Bigger one I would probably struggle with. So come back there straight away. It's lively and vibrant, but there is gas on that, and the gas is providing a lot of that. So it is a little bit hard to say. That is a little bit dead and flat, and it could be being negatively impacted by not having that gas on there. That could go alright. Okay, that pineapple-y note, it's becoming it's a little more evident as it's warmed a little bit. It's not a lot, but that fruity note is coming up, the tropical note in the background. Again, it's not massive, but I would, and the same with the coconut. It's not really pickable on its own. You can't go, okay, there's the coconut. You don't really go, there's the coconut, there's the pineapple. But they're definitely working together to provide character and flavour in the overall beer. And there's no doubt that would be quite a different beer without them. So from that perspective, it's definitely worked. And I think most brewers, like doing the tropical stout, they're really just throwing hops, so they're going to throw hop flavours at the beer. As I said, you're really generally looking just at a basic dry stout, a pub stout that's got some tropically sort of hop flavours supporting it. With this has truly got you can't deny the tropical attributes and the contribution to the beer. The sweetness of the stout works nicely with the sweetness of the fruit without either being, like I said, dominant, and without becoming too sweet. I don't know that you'd really want to sit down and drink, have a session on this particular beer. But said before, it's more about having the stout that you can sit down on a warm day in summer and break up your lighter beers, or maybe towards the end of the night on a hot summer's night, towards the end of a session, just something different to finish off. Sweet enough to have some interest, but not enough to go, okay, well, I can't really drink it. It's not gonna be thirst quenching. It's not gonna make you want more to drink. Works really well. So overall, yeah, I'm happy. I'm really happy with that. I think that's come up really well. I'd certainly recommend having a go at something like that. You want to make something, if you're looking to make something different without a real lot of effort. Yeah, a couple of pineapples, chop them up. But it took an hour to cook, but it was really basic. Once it was chopped up, which didn't take long. So I didn't bother coring the pineapple. I just roughly took the skin off the outside and just chopped them both up, put them in a big pot with the brown sugar, and just cooked them on a medium heat, like I said, for about an hour and 10 minutes, and then dumped them in the fermenter. I mean, it couldn't have been much easier to get a beer with some interest. And certainly a beer you could talk about, you're sharing it with family or friends. Certainly a beer you can talk about the process and what was involved in doing it and adding the stuff to it, as opposed to just, oh yeah, I threw a box of beer into a barrel and threw some yeast at it. It's got a little bit of conversation factor. And it drinks pretty good. So yeah, it's win-win. So anyway, guys, that's it. Brewventure number 6, Tropical Stout. I'm gonna revisit this down the track a little bit and see how it goes, because it's only 3 weeks. It needs longer to really develop and do its thing, and I think it will change. Over months, especially. Over summer, with a little bit more warmth in the garage and some seasonal influence on it. So that's something I will revisit probably early next year, getting into summer, or maybe a bit through summer or towards the end of summer. But for now, that's a success if you're going to try something like that. So once again, thank you everybody for supporting the channel. If you got any comments or any questions, stick them down the bottom. All the links are down there as well. But for now, I'm Little John, you're not. But until I see you again, and we're brewing beer, we drink a beer, or we talking beer, good brewing.